Nice vibe there. Hey, hello, greetings, welcome. How you doing,
Welcome.
Mark?
I'm doing
Good.
all right. I was expecting you to do more of an intro.
It's it's one. What are we at? 111, episode 111.
No, 10, right?
110?
Oh, maybe I
Where's
was supposed to lead it.
111?
This live streaming has us all out of our habits,
You could
but
say we
we'll
don't look
live.
sharp this season.
No, and that would be very apropos, actually.
Mm-hmm. How's that for a transition?
That was beautiful.
Oh, oh man. That was we texted during the game a bit. That was rough because it was boring.
It was
And
super boring. Oh my gosh. I'm like watching it. I'm like, I don't really have that much to say about this. This is just not entertaining at all.
mm-hmm.
But I'll find something. Don't worry.
Yeah. Um, why don't we start with specifics in this game? Justin Fields.
Okay, so for posterity's sake, we're talking about Bears Bills final preseason game. If anyone
Yes.
does the podcast later, right? Or like there's two episodes, I'm trying to figure out which one. This is the Bears preseason wrap, final preseason game episode. And yes, Shugo, it was truly an unwatchable event. That is a fact. And I'm on record as saying I will very rarely give up on a game altogether. A lot of times I'll have it on if it's ugly or something while I'm doing something else. This game, I'm not gonna lie, Chris, I dropped altogether. Basically, middle-ish of the third quarter, little over that. Like Pole's interview, I stayed for that, which didn't really give us much, but whatever. And then I was out before the fourth quarter started.
Yeah, I got into the fourth quarter, but not much past that. It's like, eh. My wife, asked me, can you drive our son to work? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, the Bears are on, honey, but just for you and the kids, I'll do it.
That's right.
Get those
That's
brownie
right.
points that you're gonna need them
That's
here in a couple weeks.
stock
Well
up. Yeah,
played.
exactly.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I should have thought of that. Honey, I'll go to the store. Don't worry, man. I folded
Yeah.
clothes, so I guess I did do that in a different way.
So we got what, 3 series with Fields and most of the ones on offense. Does that sound about right?
No, because they're all hurt. Like no Claypool's. I don't even know how important Claypool is. And like one starting lineman in the position he was supposed to start at, and then Whitehair
hmm
playing guard with one hand. Yeah, and then Fields more in the running backs and tight ends. So like
hmm
half-ish of the eventual ones.
Okay. Yeah, it looked eerily familiar to last year. I thought so. Because Fields is running for his life again on a couple of those plays, and you brought this up. He when the pressure came in, his instinct still was not to step up in the pocket. Like,
Still doesn't step up. Or at least he didn't today.
you know who did do that though, and I'm not.
Oh
Don't
boy,
hear
here
what
we
I'm not
go.
saying, but
Oh boy.
Tyson Bagent
I gotta go.
does seem to do that. No, I'm not. No, 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 no. Don't hear what I'm not saying. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. But
he,
maybe he's
he
still
does.
trying to
They both
find play.
go to the side some, but yeah, he stepped up at least a couple times. There was really
Yeah.
just one play that where I was like, "Oh, come on, Justin, you could have stepped up." And I think it was Roshan Johnson. One of the backs was open too, and he bailed out for like 2 yards or something pointless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was just not my favorite play because I was like, this
Yeah.
is what I do not want to see anymore. Stop taking
Yeah.
those unnecessary hits. I know he's going to hit home runs doing it too. It just
Mm-hmm.
seems like he should try for the home run at the very last option. I know that sounds weird, but I think I'm wrong about that. By the way, watching this game, he's gonna their offense is gonna be him running. We're all wrong. They're not gonna be like he's throwing the ball 45 times a game. His legs are going to be a huge part of what they do. As much as we
Well,
want them to transition to passing it and being more of a pocket passer, it's not going to happen.
You don't think even a little bit in
Maybe
that
a little bit
direction?
more, but I bet he's still close to 1,000 yards rushing.
Hmm.
That's also
If
based on what Poles said in the third quarter. When he was talking about the special athlete, and they're going to lean on we know the things that he does well, and they're going to keep pushing him on some of the other stuff. And I was like,
you know,
interesting. But also,
now
I
is
don't
that
know that
more
he can help himself yet. Like he's still just so gone.
Fields? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like I don't
Well,
know that he's going to come close to a record, but people are like, ah, maybe 400 or 500 yards or something like that. It's gonna be more as
I
long
would
as he's
guess more
healthy. It'll
than
be
that.
more. I think he's
I
gonna
would guess.
be. It's gonna be what they build the offense around, and it may be to open up passing, but that's why it all looks so bad because he's not going to be doing that thing that much in the preseason when he does get in there. But he's still going to run a bit more than I would like, I think.
Yeah, I figured 800 yards is probably what to expect.
Yeah, see, I think he
And
might. That's what I initially thought, but then after that comment, I was like, "Is he going to run almost as much as last year?" Maybe I'm just overreacting to it.
I
But
I
I
just can't
bet
imagine
you
that.
he runs a lot more than we want early. Maybe by the
Yeah.
middle of the year, it'll like start to transition.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
think
you
this
need to
coaching
remember.
staff is going to have a hard time not doing the thing that they know works.
And I get that. And I think it's going to take a while to get this new offense. Well, not new offense, but with the new pieces in it, the new linemen rolling. It's going to take a while, and that's with every team in the league. The defense always gets ahead of the offense, right? So I'm kind of expecting that.
Yeah, we should always mention the preseason rule. Don't get too high, don't get too low. As much as anything, I'm basing that off of what Poles was saying and what they've
Yeah, that's
shown us
wise.
so far to a point. But he was great. Fields was great in 7-on-7s the last week or whatever of practice, especially against the
Hmm.
Colts. Some of that quick game stuff looks better. I hope that is there. Absolutely. Shugo talking about the health of the line. Yep. If they can't pass protect for long, he's going to be taking
Agreed.
off a lot, or they just won't even ask him to. And that's the first takeaway. You asked for 3 takeaways apiece, right?
I did ask for a couple takeaways. Yeah.
Chris gave me the homework today, so
Because you like hate this. I don't want
I
to
don't.
do
I don't
this.
want to. No,
Life
I didn't.
sucks.
No, oh, shut up. I said I didn't want to talk about this game because it was so boring. That's all I said. Nothing to
I
do with recording.
paraphrased.
It's just I'd rather talk about the preseason as a whole because the game was dreadful.
Yeah, sure.
But okay, but my first
Fine.
takeaway is a combo
Hmm.
point. They are still paper thin up front, and I've been preaching about this all
Uh,
preseason. The O line is in shambles with injuries, and then the sub point is they don't have a center healthy. Good thing we're first on the waiver wire because I think they're gonna have to look and hope.
man, this.
Do you think any of those guys are going to be snapping the ball to Fields in 2 weeks? Whitehair played, so
Well,
maybe it could be
yeah,
Whitehair.
he might be most likely.
Glass Patrick, or
Uh,
whatever his first name is hurt again.
can't.
And
I did
then
not count on him. No. No.
Kramer was in a cast on his right thumb.
Yeah.
There's no way that guy's ready. So who's the center?
Maybe it is
Patrick
White.
hasn't been healthy the whole time he's been a Bear.
Right. Yeah.
But
A
if
few
if
snaps in a
Whitehair's
couple
left
games.
hand was hurt, I'd feel better about it, right?
Oh, it's his right hand.
And they're just paper thin everywhere up front, especially in the middle.
Man, they should have drafted one of those sets.
I know. I wish, I don't mind doubling up on the D tackles because it's a really important position, but sure would look nice to have a center in there somewhere. They doubled up on corner, tripled up if you count the 5th-round pick too, right?
Yeah.
Terrell Smith. So at some point or just sign a center. Man, they're I never liked the center plan, and now they're dropping like flies. Okay, that's the first takeaway. My second takeaway is here's my positive one. DJ Moore is really, really good.
Yes, that's
That
a good
was
one.
a sneaky great play because he also keeps his knee from getting to where he's downed while they're trying to tackle him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he goes to the glow to get the catch, those first few throws by Fields all were a little underthrown too. At any rate, and then he makes a couple guys miss and takes it 40 yards.
Yep.
I was excited about him all along, of course. There was actually somebody I wanted him to pick up in the deadline. I remember being like, hey, are the Panthers trading everybody? I'll take DJ Moore. He's underrated. And he is not disappointed. And my third takeaway is a little bit of both. Tyreek
Okay.
Stevenson is going to get picked on a lot.
Yes. Yes,
The
he is.
penalties need to stop. 2 more today. Gave up a touchdown. Gave up another first down. The 2 penalties. That makes 3 first downs. And then had an interception on a pretty tough play. So,
Yeah, good
okay.
interception.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, okay, I see what they see in you. I think the thing that we should note here, though, just is remember Gordon's start of the year was terrible. Corners don't usually come out and Sauce Gardner it up, right? Like it'll
right.
probably be a bumpy road, but I do think the talent's there. But we should
Yep.
expect some big time growing pains there. And even in the preseason, teams are clearly targeting him. Jalen Johnson had a really good game, one of the ones that actually played really well.
Yeah.
And my last point is I'm a little confused. My last takeaway from just the game.
Okay.
What was the plan with the ones on the defense there? So like they played 3 snaps, they took half of them out, except for all the corners. You guys get to stay in.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand what the goal was, besides obviously shaking some rust off. Edmonds like whiffs a tackle, and they're like, "That's enough. Don't pull your hamstring." I'm like, I think he needs the reps. If that was the point, how does 3 even matter? Like, what's the point of 3 reps?
Yeah.
And don't the guys up front need some more reps? If reps is the reasoning, I'm not sure what they were doing there. Was that confusing to anybody else? It was totally confusing to me.
Yeah, all of a sudden they were gone in the middle of that first drive. Oh,
and then
okay.
the corners are out there for
Sanborn.
like a quarter and a half. Jalen Johnson's out there forever.
I'm
like,
and Stevenson played
the whole half.
Yeah, and
it always sounds like a misnomer, but it makes sense in sports.
The whole half.
He played the entire first half of the football game.
He did. Yes, he did.
He did. All right, what are your takeaways?
All right, my takeaways. Number 1, I do not see Herbert as the number 1 running back.
I knew you were going to go there.
He can't pull the line, right? And we knew that about him, right? But if he's not going to be trustworthy with the hands,
Well, he caught the screen, and he caught a screen, of course, in the TD the first game, and then he dropped the one today. Yes. That was Fields' best throw, actually.
It was.
Threw it that one with anticipation. Doink. It's like, oh man.
The irony. No.
Here's the thing I will tell you as a counter to that. Just barely. One, it is going to be by committee. They're not going to have like a bell cow back with a bajillion carries, I don't think. But they weren't running any of their real runs, but I could tell. Which, remember, this is an outside zone run scheme, and he's actually pretty good there because of his speed. And they weren't really doing that. So like the stuff they're trying to do in the preseason, he's a pretty horrible fit for, which is just like generic between the tackles. And then Foreman and Johnson actually are better. Johnson, 9 carries for 22 yards. I was like, oh, I thought we were a little better than that today, but that's probably mostly the line, of course. I'm not blaming him.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably going to start as the lead back, Herbert, and then sooner or later it'll be switched. Sorry, my computer's being weird.
That's all right. Comment from Odyssey Youth Dude, or Odessa Youth Dude. I believe I know who that is.
Former student Tim.
What I've heard is your only long distance back. You use him in the pass and outside runs. Well, yeah, that's where strength are, but
yeah, you just can't be that predictable. Is the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the real concern is he can't block. Like, so he's not getting. He's not ever going to be a down.
Yeah.
Like all 3 downs back until he can block.
Yeah, so. It could be a third down back if you can't block, right? And so, yeah, okay.
Sooner or later, Johnson will take the most snaps.
Yeah, I agree. Even though he didn't look as sharp today as last week.
They all kind of looked like they were just like, can we just get this over with? I felt like that the whole way.
And maybe
the tackling,
that's really,
especially. Oof, the tackling.
Maybe the. Yeah, don't get hurt. Don't do anything stupid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I can understand. It's just why preseason football is dreadful, and you don't get too high and you don't get too low.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And maybe part of the game plan was just don't get hurt, because Fields took a true hit, right in the chest.
And then they took him right out.
Like, all right, you're done. Sit down.
Did you see? Eberflus actually has met the media, and they asked him about that, and he's like, "Oh, he was on a pitch count of 13 snaps." I'm like, 13, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. You mean
Even though
15, but he took a shot. That's like exactly what that was. Come on.
in the red zone, man, let's take our starter out. Let's not try to get a touchdown here. Yeah, no, I don't buy it. And I don't
They
blame
wanted to
him.
get this
Absolutely, that's
Tyson
fine.
Bagel to touchdown.
Create a controversy. Oh my gosh, did you hear
They can't all be
caller on
Kenny
the
Pickett.
score? Yeah. Did
Like
you
when he was
hear
on
the caller
fire
on the
the other
score
night.
the other day? Yeah, again, don't get too
It's the
excited.
preseason. Yeah.
There was a guy who called the score in the morning show that said he liked Tyson Bagent, and one of the reasons was because he has pure bloodlines. Did you hear that?
Where's the gift that's racist? The kid, you know.
That's right. Yeah, it might be a little bit. Yeah.
I don't actually know what it means. What do you mean, pure bloodline?
Well, what would it mean? You know?
Yeah. I
But,
mean, what else?
like one of my old buddies back home in Illinois said, "What is he, Slytherin?"
Yeah.
Exactly. You know.
Well, Rodgers was definitely a Slytherin. Maybe that's how you get a good QB. Embrace the darkness. He's about to make his on-field debut here at 5 p.m. for the Jets. Won't that be exciting?
That'll be fun.
All right, your other takeaways.
All right, another takeaway. You mentioned I had a Stevenson thought. I'll count this as like not one of my three, but what I wrote down was that he's raw but incredible potential. So that's where I see him right now.
And he was a
Kyler
Genesis
Gordon.
caller. That sounds correct, Shugo, based on the description.
Oh, you heard that?
Shades
yes,
of the Nazis in World War II.
Woo. Yes.
Eugenics. Ooh.
Crazy. Yeah,
Science.
it was pretty startling. Like, oh my. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they put him on the air.
Yeah. Well, he may have snuck that one in while
because that's a little worse than your normal, idiot named Bob or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, carry on. Sorry.
Kyler Gordon, I think he's going to take a huge leap this year.
Hang on. Is that a preseason thought or the game? I didn't really notice anything with him
in
the
game.
Well,
it's based on the game. So can I be fudging that a little bit? I guess.
Okay, fair enough. I was only asking because I was like, did I miss a play that he made or something?
No. Well, there was ironically he didn't make the play here, but he was. I don't know how he didn't touch. There was a quick slant to Stephon Diggs.
That's true. That was a great effort. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know how he didn't touch it. He was right there. And then there was a ball that was batted by was it Pickens? Pickens had a ball early on against Josh Allen. I don't know.
Dexter.
One of the new guys. Oh, was it Dexter? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he knocked the ball down, and on the angle showing, Gordon was like right there to read it, and when the ball got knocked down, you could see he was disappointed. He thought he had a shot to grab it. So I don't know. To me, that signal. Okay, he's seeing things better. He's reacting better, and I like him at nickel going forward. So maybe that position is solved.
Yeah, and I thought one of the problems last year, and I said it then too, is I hated that they were moving him around. I'm like, he's a rookie. Stop moving him around. What are we doing here? Mm-hmm. And then you can see how much more confident he looks playing nickel aggressively.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, other news to come out of the game?
Wait, I got my third point.
Oh, that was only two. Okay. Math is hard.
It is. Yeah. Well, you kind of touched on this too.
All right, it's third down. Let's see if he can convert.
The defense just rusted. So many guys that hadn't played yet or played very little.
Which is why it was so weird that they didn't play the front a little bit more. Yeah. Also, you're going up against the try-hard Bills. What is with this guy in the preseason? Dialing up off the edge nickel blitzes and like all kinds of plays. That's like you're supposed to be like vanilla, so no one gets hurt. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Did I hear they play the Jets first?
Yeah, it's a pretty fun week one game.
Maybe that's why. Maybe because they have a series. They're just putting stuff on film.
Maybe I'm just bitter because of the year they clobbered Fields on the blitz in the preseason he got hit hard when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Bills go into the preseason games versus the Bears with a whole different mindset. But whatever. So yeah, I agree they looked rusty, and I think it is worth questioning what is going on with some of these injuries.
Mm-hmm.
The coach is saying that pretty much everyone will be back. Jenkins was in a walking boot after the game. It's the first time anyone's seen him since he got hurt. Where's Brisker? Brisker's missed like the whole month, and no one's talking about it.
Was he on the field at all today?
Was he on the sideline? Maybe, I don't know. Eddie Jackson's been down for a while too.
Yeah, Jackson didn't play. Yeah,
I know Claypool did warm-ups and everything, so you would assume that that's someone who's on track to play.
Yeah.
And same with Nate Davis. But, you know, overall for the preseason, I would say, and I'm going to base this mostly on practice because I think that's what the coaches do. I know they don't care about these games like fans do.
Yeah.
At the top of the roster, they don't anyway. And the practices got better for the offense. They look pretty good against the Colts. It's not like it's a perfect. I do think there are some big time concerns. If you're an honest fan, you don't feel great about the line and you wonder what that's going to mean. But there's a talent improvement here. The big names are healthy except for some of the O-line and Brisker. And you should have an improved defense, but at the same time, they need to get out there and actually play together. So that did look a little weird today. But no one's like devastatingly injured, so that's a big win.
Yeah, and that's what Odessa Youth dude. Odessa Youth.
You're right, Tim. It is a weird balancing act. Nicely done, Chris.
Thank you. I did get sent an article from BearsWire.com. I don't know if you ever read it. And this he quotes Eberflus here saying he's confident that Claypool, Eddie, and Jaquan Brisker will be ready to go week 1. So take that for what it is. I don't.
He's a genuine guy. I don't think Eberflus is the type to blow smoke. I think he's the type to get all coachy about not telling you what's wrong with the player. You know, the Belichickian model that everyone uses now. But I don't think he'd lie. Definitely not. Also, shout out to Flus for rocking a T-shirt like he just woke up and came down to the stadium. I was so proud of him for having just a generic Bears T-shirt. That was awesome.
Yes.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. So going into, can we transition into like recapping the preseason? Like, what do we do? Do we just take none of it? Do we take some of it?
Pay more attention to what the players are saying than what you're seeing on the preseason games at the top of the roster. This is for the back end of the roster. Right? And then look at injuries, and then maybe barely look at what the coaches say because they don't really have that much insight right now. They're all just trying to like get through it all. Like, we go through this every year, right? Do you remember how good they looked against the Browns the Week 3 game? Fields threw 3 touchdowns. And then they go out and they upset the Niners, and we're all like, they're better than people think. And we're all clowning on the ESPN guys who are like, they're going to be bad, right? Well, they were bad. You know, so like it can go either direction. You can look bad but not be bad, and you can look good and be bad. I'm just glad the preseason's over because like the first one you're like, all right, kind of real football. You're just happy it's back. By the third one you're like, oh right, this is that weird imitation goofy NFL. I'm ready for the real one.
Yeah.
And again, no devastating injuries, assuming Jenkins and the boot aren't that big of a deal. Also, Darnell Wright didn't seem to have anything going on. He was just there on the sideline, no boot or anything. So
that's good.
He's basically on schedule for week 1 too. Then.
Yeah, hopefully he was just precautionary to not dress, but because that makes a difference. Him not being there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because that's where they want to run, really, like behind the right side and off tackle. I mean, it's one of the main running plays, I should say. They did beat the newest Cowboy QB. All right, fine. Trey Lance got traded to Dallas for a 4th-round pick. And it's one of the worst draft decisions of all time.
So, can we, let's recap this. The 49ers traded 3 firsts and a third for a 4th-round pick. Is that really, that's kind of what?
Yeah,
no, 3 firsts, a third, Trey Lance, and a 4th-round pick.
What was the tweet I sent you? Did I send it to the group? I might have sent it to the group, but it was like they were like down 2,800 points in the Jimmy Johnson trade value chart or something.
Yes.
The rest of that roster is so good at saving all their jobs, but that was a terrible decision, obviously. The thing that kills me in this conversation, because it gets lumped back to Fields, is when people are like, Fields hasn't done anything either. Yeah, but at that time, we're talking about when the decision to make the pick was made.
Right.
Fields was coming off another good season. He had one of the great seasons we've seen in a long time the year before, but Burrow's was even better. The 41
Mm-hmm.
touchdowns, 3 interceptions season, and Burrow goes for
Pretty
60, which is just nuts, right? And so it was
pretty
always him
good.
and Lawrence, and then all of a sudden Trey Lance, who played one season, and then the next season, one game in FCS, and is basically like the same sort of style as Fields, like big, strong, athletic, mobile, big arm QB. Somehow the unknown was more appealing than the guy that had taken way more snaps.
Yeah.
And you could probably do this with Zach Wilson to a degree too, because he's kind of a 1-year wonder.
Yeah.
But at least it was
Mm-hmm.
Division One, so it was like it's wild to me that they ever convinced themselves that Lance was the guy, unless they were freaking out about the epilepsy or something.
Yeah, especially when John Lynch is really good at drafting for the Niners and putting that roster together. They may have the
Like
best roster without
otherwise,
quarterback in the NFL. Yeah.
and then they get lucky with Purdy, who I'm still kind of wondering about, but the teammates love him, and
Yeah.
that's usually a decent indicator. We'll see. This is the year you'll figure it out, right? But yeah,
Like
and then
I
they, and
said,
then yeah,
players
and
love Kyle Orton too.
yeah. Well, it worked for a second there. Yeah, you're right. Will he get exposed now that teams notice game plan for him?
Hmm.
It's a whole different thing that next year, because the D coordinators have all analyzed your game. So, and then you have people surprised they got a fourth for him, which is also funny, because it's like it's like the worst move ever, and people thought it would be even worse, the return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this.
Yeah, I think Shugo's got a point there. He says, I'd argue Shanahan wanted boring Mac Jones. Yep, I agree that was the initial plan, and the Jets should have drafted Fields. Yep, that would have made
Well,
sense
Jones
too.
was there. Jones
Yeah,
was there.
but he
Was
lost the
free
power struggle
just...
somehow, which is weird because Shanahan gets so much love nationally. But yeah,
Yeah,
a
he
pretty
does.
wild week. Trey Lance seems like a nice enough kid. Good luck in Dallas, kind of. Though I don't usually like Dallas.
Oh,
Did you see where Jerry had the hilarious interview? I think I sent it to you. One of their players, I don't even remember who, got in trouble again for going way too fast, and it was like 30 over. But last year it was like 60 over, and he's like, "So I feel like we're making progress."
I was confident.
That's legitimately hilarious.
I was confident that was like from an Onion type website or something when you sent that. Wow, that's nuts.
It's so
Jerry.
good. It doesn't matter.
Jerry.
It's just hilarious either way. All right, back to the final.
No, wait,
preseason stuff.
one more question. Sorry, can I ask you one
Okay.
more Trey Lance question?
I suppose.
This is not competition for starting, right? Like the
Mm-mm.
job is Dak's, right?
He said Lynch said that they talked to Lance and he asked to be traded somewhere he could compete for the backup job.
Okay. Yeah, because Dak hasn't done nearly or shown nearly enough to think that he's not the guy you go with this year, right? I mean, as much as I like to.
Yeah, no one clowns on Dak more than you, like in the entire
Right.
country.
Exactly.
No, Lance is trying to be the backup.
Okay.
Could he be a poor man's Dak? Maybe that makes sense.
Maybe they're thinking that, or maybe like 2 years, because he's been playing for almost a decade now, right? 8-9 years. So maybe they are thinking future, possibly. I don't know. Maybe.
Do they want out of the contract? I think is probably the real question there. Tim says, it's a shock the Cowboys have been irrelevant literally my entire life. And a blessing, and may it now fall to the Packers.
That's right. Yes, please. Lord, hear our prayer. Yeah.
Jordan Love, pretty decent game last night, by the way. No, it was today. It was the same time as the Bears.
No, I didn't follow at all. All right, back to preseason. Thanks for humoring my last thought there. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I think they got through it as healthy as teams usually do, but it seems like they have this problem from time to time where it'll be like one unit is just decimated. And in this case, it's one that's not that deep to begin with. So that's the big concern. I don't know how, if you're a Bears fan and you see this going on with the O-line, you're not like, oh my gosh, is it going to derail the whole thing again?
Absolutely. That's what it looked like, shades of last year in the game.
Did.
They're like, oh no, here we go again.
No.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Shugo just asked, has it been that long for Dak? So he's 16. He became the starter. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, so he's played 7 seasons. So this is year 8 for
Did
Dak.
you count that out on your fingers?
I almost had to take my shoes off. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe they're
Amen,
worried about the health.
Odessa
I
youth.
don't know.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
The name of the Father, the Ditka, and the Urlacher. Okay.
And the 46 defense, my friend. Yeah. All right. One last thing. I didn't write this down because I thought for sure we'd get to it in general conversation, but we haven't yet. Tyson Bagent, is he number 2?
Eberflus said just now that they haven't decided yet. They just thought, in the interest of competition, that Bajent deserved to play with the 2s just like the other guys did, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you know who I don't believe played at all?
Nathan Peterson.
Yes, that's right, Bob. Yeah, so at minimum, they are doing the one thing I demanded, which means they're definitely listening. Shout out to Ryan Poles.
Thanks for listening, Coach Poles or GM Poles.
Ryan Poles.
GM
And
Poles.
that is, if Peterman didn't get a single rep, he's not on the roster. They're not going to expose Bajent to the practice squad, which is all I wanted coming out of the Colts game. Because it doesn't have to be the backup yet. I don't care. PJ Walker has some NFL experience, and yeah, he kind of stunk this month, which is not great. But I get it if they're like, well, we're going to kind of wait to declare Bajent the second string QB for now. But if you expose him to the practice squad, someone will take him because he's a QB.
Right. Yep. Walker finished today with 6 out of 11, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. Yards per average 6.5, rating 104.7.
I mean, way better than the other two. But
Against 3s and 4s, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, how much does it matter when he does have NFL tape for a couple years? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I just know he looked really bad for a while. But I know that the money plays to some extent. They weren't going to cut him. But Nathan Peterman does not need to be on your active roster when you already have a veteran backup, and now you got a decent young guy that's worth developing.
Yeah.
Don't risk him.
Right.
Plus, you get the extra guy with the new QB rule.
Yeah. And that poor kid, he had that gorgeous throw to the end zone that was dropped. And then the very next play is a horrible interception.
Like miscommunication interception, but it should have had a TD.
It should have been, yeah. There was a
he couldn't
really
have thrown
nice,
a better ball on the touchdown.
It was really nice, right? And he had to leave his feet, but it hit him right here in the hands.
That's your, what is that? The 4th string tight end?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, well, I don't know how you count Lewis really, but.
Oh, let's see. Oh, do we try to develop Bajent or do we try to trade him? I try to develop him.
Keep him for a couple years and then try to Matt Flynn him to somebody.
Yeah, or Matt Hasselbeck.
But it never hurts to have one waiting in the wings.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right. And we will do a full. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and he can run. Like he can scramble when he needed to. His touchdown was a nice scramble. Yeah. So he can do things.
The most interesting thing about it, and I'm trying to think like in the big football league-wide picture here, he had so many snaps and passes in college. So did Brock Purdy. It's like sometimes I think we make it too hard. This guy's experienced and he looks like he's not rattled. Yeah, because he's experienced. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's got the arm talent to start. I really don't know that yet. But I know he's looked better than I ever thought an undrafted Bears QB would look. And then you hear that he had like 1,500 passes in college. And you're like, well, okay. He's got a lot of experience. I mean, it should matter a little more to the evaluation maybe than it does. See, also the other side of the coin, Trey Lance.
Yes, we are. Someone worked it out. He made like 260,000 something a completion in the NFL based on his contract. Like, wow, that's impressive. That's a nice return
if you can get it.
Yeah,
he's gonna be fine, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
Nope, not for today. I'm glad that the next one counts. It's at Green Bay or hosting Green Bay.
In like 15 days, that seems like forever.
I know it does.
But we need it. Get healthy.
Yeah, especially offensive line.
No basketball.
Tim, stop it, Tim.
Stop it. We're not reading this one.
All right, get rid of it. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Is that my dryer or yours?
That was my dryer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the wife is doing laundry. Yeah. All right, so we'll do a pregame before Green Bay, and
We'll do a season prediction sure to go wrong in there somewhere too.
oh sure,
I don't know
yeah,
if that means 2 or 1 episode, but the socials will keep folks posted.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. All right, thanks everyone for watching. We will talk to you Packers week 1, and it's gonna be an eventful season. We have higher expectations than last year, of course, but
That is a fundamental question we should return to in that preview episode. What should the expectations be?
okay.
Shoot
Sounds
us a
good.
tweet or an email. What do you think they
Yes.
should be?
Yeah, please do. barelyeducatedpod@gmail.com. You can send us a message through the Buy Me a Coffee page that's scrolling right there on the bottom. See? Yeah. Twitter @barely_educated. Facebook and Instagram. We have messaging through there now too. And Threads. I think we have 3 Threads followers.
Threads.
Yes. So.
Thank you for calling it Twitter. It shall ever be Twitter.
Yeah. It's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like it's still the Sears Tower, my friend. And Kaminsky.
Perfect.
Kaminsky
Okay.
Park. Bye.
Just to see you.